Hi, this is the Real Journey Podcast, and I'm your host, Matt Cole. In this episode, I sit down with Cody, a content creator with a focus on helping businesses and entrepreneurs grow through video. Cody's story is exciting as we're able to catch him at his transition phase as he's going all in, burn the boat style. And as I personally reflect back on my own journey, quitting a very stable, great paying job with the benefits and retirement for an unknown future, I can say this was one of the best moves I've ever made. So, as Cody tells his story, I already know this is going to be one of his pivotal decisions he'll look back on one day with gratitude, knowing that his younger self was able to make the tough decision of betting on oneself. But he's in the right place at the right time with a passion to make it happen. You see, we live in a digital world now, and every day as a business owner or entrepreneur, you realize you have to have amazing content to tell a story about your business or brand that engages people to want to do business with you. It's not enough to just have a brick and mortar building and hope people drive by to see what you have. People are Googling you, they check you out on your website, and they want to do business with companies that are doing good in this world. So, with somewhat of a selfish agenda, I wanted to see what Cody was all about as I've been seeing his work pop up all over the place lately. And I need some help with my own personal online brand and messaging, somewhat of an interview if you would. And I was not disappointed. Cody has the passion and skill doing what he does, but on top of that, he has amazing values. The business was started with his wife, who is his best friend, and he wants to set an example that his two young daughters can look up to. Cody, I can't wait to do business with you, and I thank you for sharing your story. And without further ado, please enjoy the Real Journey Podcast. Cody, welcome to the Real Journey Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm super excited because I see your stuff and your work. A lot of it, most of it being like Chris Sanchez, Sanho the Indian, like the videos and just everything you've been putting out content wise. And you know, I try and create my own content, and it's super difficult. Yeah. So I wanted to hear like what do you do specifically as a content creator, and what kind of business do you have?
Well, first, what's most important when you're creating content is to look at the person that you're creating it for or the business. Mm-hmm. So every business is different and they all have different needs. Yes. You know, some people are a personality and they need something that shows their personality. And it's all about identifying the needs and then figuring out, for us, what we do is a low cost way. So we can get in and out and create a ton of content in one day for you. And that's where the value in our service is. Okay.
What does that mean? Like a lot of content to somebody who doesn't know?
So for instance, with Sanho the Indian that you brought up, we've done a bunch of videos for him. Yeah. He's actually my sister's husband. Okay. So but I've known Chris for a very long time. Gotcha. And I believe in his music. So I always tell him when we're together, all I need is 20, 30 minutes and I can create you something. Gotcha. You know, and he gives me the reins, which is really nice, and I really appreciate it. He trusts, well, not just me, it's me and Jenny. Yeah. He gives us both the reins to kind of do whatever we want. And we'll tell him, I have an idea. A lot of it has been stuff that I wanted to try out. Recently, we did a whole green screen video.
I saw that one. That turned out really good.
I wanted to focus one whole project animating and create everything in that is created by me. The images, everything is layered. Nothing is real. It's all animated, and it's for someone who doesn't work in that realm of like After Effects. It's kind of it's not easy to understand. But I had to. It's like a painter painting everything and then making it move.
So difficult.
Yeah, it was really hard. But I think he wasn't even expecting that. He had no idea.
It turned out so good. I saw that video and I was like, just the editing it, and then I think you did a promotion where you were like, here's the actual footage side by side with him on the green screen, and I was blown away because I do all of my editing, but I'm just scratching the surface, and it's hard for me to do a little color correcting. So doing that,
it's frustrating.
I'm going, wow. Yeah. And so that's why I wanted to hear your story and what you do. Almost like for my own personal, like, what do you do, man? I need some help here, bro. Like,
no, I'm happy to share that stuff. Something that we are planning to go into is creating value within our service by having these different videos showing you how to create content at a low cost. Okay. Because a lot of people, when they think of content creation, they think of like buying really expensive gear. Yeah. And it costs so much to get into. And if you want a professional photographer, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. Well, I mean, that's true.
It is.
It is. But you realistically, what you can do is you can take a little bit of time, learn how to shoot something nice, learn a little bit about lighting. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
And you can send it to somebody like me who's an editor, and I can give you something back that's, way more professional, and you can shoot it. And so that takes the cost down significantly.
Yes.
Because the shooting part is actually the more labor intensive part for me.
Okay. Because you got to get your gear, go on location. Right. I mean,
and depending on the project, I have a lot of gear. We've got so much gear that we buy new generations when the new stuff comes out, because we want to stay, we want to know that stuff.
Top of the line stuff.
And we want to know, because when the new stuff comes out, different opportunities arise within content.
Yes.
Like, for instance, 360 cameras.
Yes.
I went and got one of those right away. Because
which one do you have?
Well, I got the GoPro, the Fusion, right when it first came out, for Bottle Rock in 2018.
Okay.
So I could just kind of just play with it.
Yep.
And it was great. And I could see where that was going to come in the future for things like real estate videos.
Yes.
And it's just evolved into a place where it's like, no one could have seen that, 2 or 3 years ago.
And what you can do so I bought the Insta360.
Right.
And I haven't figured out like how to incorporate. I brought it on my dirt bike. I was like, I'm gonna put it on my dirt bike. But editing that is
it's
again,
hard. And the entry to editing that is huge too, because you have to have the hardware to edit it.
Yes.
So we're talking about, tens of thousands of dollars investment to create what most people will call like really high quality content.
100%.
Meanwhile, everybody has $1,000 camera in their pocket wherever they go.
Exactly.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
Because what people don't realize is that when you upload something to Facebook or you upload something to YouTube, it degrades it so much.
Yeah, I'm like,
so you could shoot with the most beautiful camera, get such a sharp image, and you put it on Facebook and it just looks like garbage.
720.
So if you can just learn how to take some nice photos, some nice video, not be super shaky, and just kind of have a few tools in mind, you can create great content that can be turned into awesome content by us. And that's kind of where we've pivoted our business.
Okay.
Because in the past couple years, this has been a side hustle for us.
Okay.
Jenny actually works for Contra Costa Animal Services as their social media manager. Okay. She does a ton of content creation. She basically does what we do, but she has a contract with them exclusively.
Gotcha.
So she does that full time on top of whatever projects we have coming in.
Okay.
And for the past 5 years, I've been doing plumbing.
Okay.
Which is great, and it's funded a lot of the things we wanted to do. It's funded the investments we've made in our business as far as gear and hardware and time, schooling. Because you have to be able to learn how to use these programs.
Yes.
So, but now that's changing because of COVID.
Yep.
The work space for me has changed, and now I'm at home and I'm editing full time.
And I saw your post where you're like, hey, send us your and I'm going, what footage do I have that I haven't? Because to someone like me, like I have a vision and I'm like, okay, let me go and shoot this. But then it's like, okay, now I got to go home. I got to take care of all my other business. Right. And okay, now it's 10 o'clock at night. Let me start editing this. And now, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm done with this thing.
Especially if you have an idea in mind that is something that you haven't tried before.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of trial and error. And you can really get stuck in like this loop of making something and not being satisfied with it.
Yes.
And that's part of creating and part of learning, but not everybody has the time to do that.
Yeah.
If you have a business that needs to go right now, you need the content.
Yes.
Right. So back to, what our business is about is just creating content for anybody who needs it, really, because it could be a band, a business, a person, it's promotional or even a vlog type thing. Like you said, I was offering editing services because everybody has a GoPro. Everybody's bought a GoPro. They're so cheap, but very few people know how to edit them, and very few people know how to make it look decent or bring out the correct colors. So
I have memory cards of stuff for my GoPro.
Everybody does. And drone footage, because everybody bought a drone when they first came out, and the price dropped so low that everybody bought one.
Yeah.
So now everybody has all this beautiful footage with nothing to do with it.
Yes.
And that's fine. You don't have to do something with it, but if you have the potential to use it, why not use it for eyeballs?
And so let's back up. And so you said this was your side hustle for 5 years.
Yeah.
What got you into it at all? Like, why did you even start doing it?
Well, it started in high school, actually.
Okay.
I've always kind of had my foot one in athletics and one in like creating.
Okay.
And that's just something that's been instilled with me since I was a little kid.
Okay.
My parents would just make me do every sport and then just have creative time to do drawing or whatever.
Okay.
So, in the early 2000s, I got into making hip hop music.
Okay.
Which now is like a very stark contrast for what I'm about. But at the time, I had gotten a computer, and my older brother gave me the hardware to plug in a microphone and start recording stuff.
Okay.
So I became obsessed with it, and I taught myself how to use different applications to record music, and I ended up building out a full recording studio in my bedroom.
No kidding.
In 11th grade. Yeah.
So you were singing.
Yeah, I was singing, rapping. I wrote a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And I wrote a lot of stuff for other people.
Okay.
And I would have people come in and track vocals, and that was like the first time that I realized I could create stuff. Like that was my paintbrush. I was never good at anything creative, even though I was forced to do it. But once I was able to use this computer to create, I figured it out. I was like, I love doing this.
Okay.
And so from there, I got into Photoshop, obviously, for promotion.
Yep.
And I kind of fell out of love with creating music because early 20s.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just other interests.
Life.
But I came back into photography, or I got into photography working at Harley Davidson.
Okay.
My older brother got me a great job at Harley Davidson listing spare parts on eBay.
No kidding.
But one of the side things I got to do was take pictures of like these models on the bikes because they didn't have anyone else that could work the camera, and I'm like, I'll do it.
Right.
So that got me into photo editing and photo retouching.
Okay.
And we shot a little video, but I never had the tools to edit video. I didn't have a camera. I had no money. I couldn't buy a camera.
Gotcha.
And GoPros weren't even out yet.
Yeah.
And cameras are $1,000. So I don't have the camera. I don't have the means to edit it. But later, I kept doing light photography.
Okay.
And learning, like, kind of starting to use Adobe more.
Yep.
Fast forward a little bit, I finally get a camera. I get my first camera. It's a flip video, $100 camera.
Okay.
And I got it because I was actually training at John Cortez's gym.
Okay.
And I had seen the TV show American Ninja Warrior.
Okay.
And I'm like, I want to do that. Okay. So I bought the camera because I knew I had to make an audition tape to get on the show.
Oh, okay.
So I started filming myself training.
No kidding.
And because I was filming, I had to figure out how to edit it. So I spent like hundreds of hours just editing myself, lifting, doing squats or whatever, climbing. And I got onto American Ninja Warrior. They invited me to try out in Venice Beach.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was great. And so I went down there, took my little flip video, and I recorded my first vlog. To me, I had never seen a vlog before, but I just wanted to like record my experience of going to Venice Beach and going on this TV show that I had only seen, all these guys do these crazy things, and I had been training really hard for it. And it was actually a really disappointing experience.
Why is that?
So I get there and I'm like second to go on the whole day, very second. So I don't get to see anyone else do it. I made it pretty far, but I ultimately skimmed my toe in the water and they disqualified me. But it was fine because what came out of that was I ended up going to Tempest Free Running Academy.
Okay.
And at the time, it was like the first parkour gym. And I don't know anything about parkour at this point.
Is it locally? Or
no, it's in LA.
Okay.
It's I'm not sure which part of LA it's in. I can't remember.
Okay.
Great facility. It's huge. All the Ninja Warrior guys go training there, And going there, I'm still vlogging, right? I'm making my vlogs. I'm just kind of talking about nothing really interesting. But I meet a couple guys who are actually from Davis, and they tell me about a parkour group that meets in Davis.
Okay.
So when I get back to Napa, I hook up with those guys, and I go to the next parkour jam.
Gotcha.
And I meet all these weird, awesome people.
Yes.
Because at the time, parkour is like this new thing on the scene. It's like, The Office is making the parkour jokes.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
And so I go there and I meet all these great people, and I meet this guy who's got a camera, and he's he's filming everything. Okay. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm talking to him a little bit because I'm interested in what he's doing.
Yes.
I connect with him, and he's from Vallejo.
Okay.
And he would make these awesome videos of like the meets, just kind of like very personal, a lot of people in them.
Yeah.
Cool parkour tricks. And I knew that I wanted to be friends with this guy. I knew I needed to know how he was doing what he was doing because that's what I wanted to do.
That's awesome.
And I don't know when that clicked, but I know that it just, I was kind of led there. Everything I've done has not really been a switch up. It's just been kind of like a pivot, you know, because now I use all that audio experience with video editing.
For sure.
And it's kind of snowballed.
It's life's happening for you, especially if you embrace it, right? Like the journey. Like for me, I'm real big on just following my gut.
Right.
And just like, okay, well, what, you know, and I'm like, oh, I feel like I should do this, and I'll just do it. Yeah. Right. And so that's really cool that, you know, you were being led down this path.
Yeah, it feels like it was meant to be, because actually that guy that I met, his name is Leo. He's actually my neighbor. He lives in our back unit.
No kidding.
And Leo is so awesome. He's taught me, I mean, everything he got me into how to edit in Adobe. Okay. And he's hooked me up with a lot of really cool gigs, because through doing parkour and working with him, and we actually ended up creating a parkour group called My Life's Movement.
Okay.
And we would do these kind of like lifestyle parkour mini documentary episodes.
No kidding.
And they picked up a lot of traction. Okay. We got sponsored by a shoe company.
No kidding.
Called Olo. They're great. I'm still great with those guys. They're awesome. I appreciate everything they did for us. And that's where we kind of started making the content. Okay. Because what they wanted was they said, we love your content. We need like some photos, some action stuff. Can you do that? We'll send you some shoes. Take some, cool photos for us. And we ended up taking a bunch of photos for them, and that was all their whole ad campaign for a while. Wow. They're like the premier shoe now, and they have much better people to represent them. Much more talented parkour athletes. But yeah, I really appreciate everything they did for us, and that kind of showed us like there's a market for content.
Yes. And what year was this?
This was 2014 or 2015, I think.
Okay. Yeah. This is right as like vlogging really started coming out.
And then so I had made this whole series about like my experience going to Ninja Warrior.
Okay.
And it was like a 3 or 4 part series, and I put it on YouTube, and I've been on YouTube forever. I mean,
is it still on YouTube?
No, it's embarrassing to me now because of the quality. I've taken it down just because if somebody, at a certain point, your standard
for sure
moves, and
yep.
As a creative professional, I can appreciate where I started, and I appreciate like there is depth to the story and stuff.
Yes.
But like that's not what I want to represent me at this point. You know what I mean?
No,
So I have
exactly
taken down a lot of stuff.
Yes.
I've created a ton of content. I mean, across a lot of different channels. I've had a bunch of different YouTube channels, and because I've just been trying different things over the years.
And what's the YouTube channel right now? Because I need to go check this out.
I just have a personal one. I'm not really working on myself right now.
Gotcha.
Because through parkour, I kind of learned that I thought for a long time I wanted to be in front of the camera.
Gotcha.
But it turns out I enjoy being behind the camera. Yes. And I enjoy lifting someone else up.
Gotcha.
Yep. And because I think that's where my strength is.
Okay.
And I think that I can take a situation and figure out where it needs to be, where it needs to be bolstered, where the defenses need to be bolstered on somebody, and what they need to show to get people interested in what they want, whatever message they want to put out.
You're able to use your creativity.
Right.
You're like, okay, I don't have to be the person in front, but I can use I need you to do this, this, and this, and you have the vision.
Right.
Whereas most people don't have the vision. The vision's the hardest part.
The vision has to be 4D. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to film a music video and then I'm going to put it on Facebook and then I'm going to hope that it gets traction.
Yeah.
Because that's not how it works.
No.
You need to create excitement. You need to have some behind the scenes stuff, make a little buzz. You can't just drop stuff. Why are you giving? You can't just give it. You got to tease, and then
really
give it because it's people are fickle.
Yeah.
And they'll look at your stuff and they won't react to it.
Yeah.
Even though they've seen it, and then you'll see them and they go, "Oh, I love that," and it's like, well, why didn't you leave a comment, man? As a creator, that's like the best thing you can do for us is leave a comment, subscribe, hit like, because the view number doesn't do anything. I mean, just because 10,000 people saw something doesn't mean they listened to it. Doesn't mean it meant anything to them.
Oh, that's crazy you say that, because that happens all the time to me.
And then you
get, I see it.
Yeah, you get a comment and it's like, yes, I'm connecting with somebody.
Exactly.
And hopefully it's not just a bot, because it's like most of the comments when you're starting out are bots, But and I want I'd like to find people who have a passion and want to have that interaction and engagement, and I help them figure out how to do that.
That's awesome. So from parkour, how did you turn it into your? So was that part of your side hustle then?
So I was training at CTS with John Cortez. Shout out to them, great people.
Yeah, I just
appreciate.
Him, yeah.
John's actually done a lot for me as far as like we're the same age, but I view John as a mentor for sure.
Gotcha.
When I look at like what he's accomplished with his business, that's where I want my business to be.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? I want to be
just a successful business.
Roots in the community. I want, he's got all these people that have his back, no matter what, because of the value that he's given them.
Yes.
And that's where we're like, that's what we need to do. We want to give people value. We want to give your business value.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So, but I'm sorry, back to your question. It was, so I was creating this content so I could get on Ninja Warrior. And then John goes, hey, could you create some content for me?
Okay.
I say, sure. We start making these like workout videos for him.
Okay.
And I think I've created over like 500 videos for them at this point.
No kidding.
Workouts, DVDs, all kinds of stuff. But he's also given me like creative freedom to like kind of give him a product that he knows he can be like put out, and that will be like jive with what he's about.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Align with him, but you use your creativity to make something.
And at one point, I became a trainer at CTS. I was an intern.
Okay.
And I thought that I wanted to maybe coach people.
Okay.
And through doing that, I realized that like I was still doing videos for John.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized I don't really like coaching people in that sense.
Okay.
I just like working out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So John actually had, at the time, he goes, look, I know you like love the gym and you love what you're doing, but I think your strength is in the video. And if you can create me videos, I would employ you that way.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because the path for a intern there is you work for so long and then maybe they'll hire you as a full-time trainer.
Gotcha.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate all that time too, because it gave me a lot of content that I was able to create while I was there.
And life is like, I was just talking to my niece. She's 19, turning 20.
Mm.
And I was telling her, I'm like, go work for someone for free.
Yeah.
Like figure out what you go, like
just in the field that you like.
Yeah. Like we pay to go to school. The best school is real life.
Right.
I said, don't worry about money in the sense like, you're so young, like just go work for free. Go get people coffee. Go get, like it's so valuable. And people are always caught up on the money, but you're hitting the nail on the head. You're like, I had so much experience making content. Like it's compounded to where I'm going.
It just, when he told me that, it was kind of like a blow to my ego at first, but I know he meant it like as like, I know, it wasn't a mean thing. It was like, I just see he's good at identifying people's strengths.
Okay.
And I really appreciate that he told me that, because that made me pivot again.
Gotcha.
Now I'm going to focus on this.
Gotcha.
Now I'm going to invest more of my money into this and maybe get some better gear.
Gotcha.
So, and then we started doing like shoots with the lights and stuff for John.
Okay.
And we've been doing that for him ever since. I mean,
so was he your first client?
He was our very first client. Yeah.
Okay. That's so cool.
Yeah. Well, for editing, before, so much stuff happened between parkour and now. Like through parkour, so many opportunities opened up for us that showed me like we could do this ourselves.
Gotcha.
We were hired like as stuntmen for some commercials, and just being on set like for the first time and seeing kind of like a low budget thing.
Yes.
I go, we could do this.
Gotcha.
It's not that hard. You just learn how, if you have an eye, you can do it. It's just buying the equipment and then making it work. And by being on those sets, big sets, small sets, we kind of saw like where the fat was, like we could trim that. We don't really need that, and what I've been able to do is kind of bring people in that are better than me at certain things.
Okay.
Because ultimately I want the edit and the final product to be like
just the best
nice.
thing. Yes.
So if that means bringing my buddy Leo in, who's way better with the camera than I am, no problem. I'll pay Leo to come in. If it's whatever, any instance like that, I have no problem bringing people in, and I have no problem like bringing new people in who are just interested in it and who want to learn how to do kind of what we do, because anybody can do it.
It's, for me, starting out in real estate, I quit what I was doing before, and I'm going, all right, I'm going to get into real estate. And I said, I'm going to get in, and video is going to be my number one medium to like generate business, right? Because here I am brand new when I first started. No one knows who I am.
Right.
And so YouTube was my best friend. And I'm on YouTube, like how to create video. And I didn't even buy it. Mari already had a Canon Rebel T3i. Yeah. We bought like a $200 wide angle lens for it, super cheap. And then I bought like $100 Steadicam. And I learned how to use the Steadicam, and I'm like, okay, because my first property video I ever did took me, I want to say 9 hours to film, and then luckily it was vacant, the clients weren't there, and then because I'm like, okay, Steadicam, okay, now I need a slider shot, okay, now I need a crane shot, you know, all of these different things. Like 16 hours to edit. It took me forever. Right. And I'm like, man, this is not scalable.
Yeah, it's hard. And we've kind of just opened up to that type of real estate video.
Yeah.
There's tools, see that, and that's where the experience comes in, because there's tools that you can use to just kind of make that process go faster. Like different equipment that can be used, you know, more versatilely. But actually, the way I found you was through your videos, and I just want to say your videos are great, and I think you're doing a great job on everything.
Thank you.
And really it looks really clean, and I always want to make sure that I give props when I see creators that are making great things, because it's huge, and I want you to keep creating, and I want everybody to keep creating, because you know, this is the new medium for everything. This is the new information. Whether you're talking about the new lipstick that you bought, or you're talking about your new drone, those, you know, that's your voice, and your voice can go out to anybody.
Yep.
You know, and we're in the best time for that.
It's still just the beginning. Like people are going, oh, it's too late. I can't YouTube. We have these big YouTube creators, and it's like, YouTube hasn't even scratched the surface yet of how big it's going to be.
That's the beautiful thing about YouTube, is though, even though there's these PewDiePies who have 100 million subscribers, that doesn't stop you or I from starting a channel and getting, you know, however many subscribers, because, you know, it's not like a competition.
No.
For most people, some people it is, but you know, if you just want to create and have somebody interact with it, anybody can do that.
Anybody,
you know, and it's beautiful,
and it's great for business. Like if you own a business, or if you are trying to create a business or do something, like documenting it. And like for this trailer, I tried to document it. I'm like, I'm going to document the process of building this trailer. And I didn't do the best job, but I was like, let me try and document, you know, my journey as I'm doing this, you know, and it's fun. Like, and I enjoy it.
Like, that's what I tell people. And even if it's just for you to look back on, you know, like, maybe your hard drive has a lot of pictures, but does it really affect you? You know, like, wouldn't you rather have that stuff? You know, so you know, people get mad when they see other people out in public taking selfies or whatever, but why? Why? You know?
Like,
although one of my favorite accounts to follow is Influencers in the Wild on Instagram. I don't know if you've seen this.
I haven't.
Great follow. Check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great follow.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, it's kind of. I don't like people getting made fun of, especially for like creating content, but it's just, you know, it's like time and place for everything.
Well, especially if you create content, and then if you have like a comedic mind, and then you're like, because you know how hard it is sometimes to be somewhere and do a shoot, and you're like, oh, I got people watching me and this, that, and the other. So, you know, if you've been there and done it, it's like, you know, you understand it.
The first couple big like stunt things that we did were very nerve-wracking like that.
Okay.
Some of them were like in public, like we did one at Santa Cruz. Just like height of the day, and you know, you kind of have to. That's where I figured out maybe being in front of the camera is not really for me, you know, and because nobody really likes when they see themselves on camera.
Nobody,
right?
Yeah.
And but I just think for me, like, there's other people that are much better at it, and I can help them be even better. So like, that's my reasoning for it now, because, like I said, I've gone through a lot of different phases with my creation. You know, some of it was very personal.
Yep.
Some of it was just like a review, because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I just wanted to be able to do all this different stuff, so I could say, because I knew one day we would take this full time.
Okay.
And that I wanted to be able to offer people like a broad range of services.
I love it,
because not everybody has the same budget.
And so, working with John, how did you transition, or how did you grow your client base and grow your side hustle?
Most our clients come from word of mouth,
okay.
Or they have, because I haven't done a lot of promotion in the past. I've really only in the last few months like started actually promoting our services.
Okay.
Because the worry at the time was Jenny and I are both working so much. I didn't want to take on too many clients and then not have time to give them a great product.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had people offer like, I have these friends who are all looking for videos. I could refer you. And it's like, I really appreciate that, but it's just not the right time for us, you know, because babies, I have to have like steady money coming in when the babies, when they're little. And, but this whole COVID thing has really like kicked it into gear. It's like, why not now? When I have all this time,
there's always going to be an excuse not
why
to,
not? And, and I think we've been ready for a long time.
Okay.
And we've really, I feel like we've proven ourselves with a lot of our videos. We can give quality content.
Yeah.
We've worked with like big companies. We've worked with the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2016.
Okay.
We've worked with a few other smaller companies, but you don't have to spend $10,000-$15,000 for a professional looking ad. That's just like so old thinking.
I was going to say that's if you don't know the space, somebody will pay that.
Oh,
too.
And I know. And the place that Jenny works for paid a big company. I won't say how much, but they paid them a huge amount of money for a video that, in my opinion, is garbage.
Yeah.
And I was really offended for a while that they didn't choose us to do that for them, because we could have given them something way better. It's just like they gave them like a canned thing.
Gotcha.
With like a little customization at the end. And it's like, for that amount of money, man, you should have been here shooting. You should have been, and they have hired us since then.
Okay.
And I feel like the product we've put out is much better. And going forward, that's what we want to do, is just keep putting out great looking stuff, great sounding stuff, and keep building people up.
And do you help people with their social media building?
Yeah.
So like running ads, do you do that for people as well?
Yeah, totally. Because one of the things, this is a big thing that I talk to all our clients about is, when you're thinking of investing in a commercial, for instance, right? Yeah. Let's say we agree on a price. It's not just going to be that price in the end, because the way that these social media networks make money is through people paying them to push their content out.
Yes.
Until you get big enough and it doesn't matter. But
yes,
you have to invest in yourself. If you really want people to see you, you have to be investing a little bit so that those things get pushed out to the people who you want to see them.
Yep.
And that's how you kind of create the snowball. And if you're not willing to invest in yourself, it's really hard. It's really hard to do anything, because I can make you the best looking video ever, but if 3 people see it, what's the point?
There's no point. Yeah. You got to have some.
And in the past, I've gone as far as putting my own money into it, because I know it'll catch traction with just a little bit of fanning.
Yep.
And it's happened.
Yep.
So, at this point, we're putting together kind of like presentations showing how that works for us, and kind of like our success rate.
Yep.
And it's undeniable at this point, and I feel like we can do it for just about anybody.
And like Facebook, do you run where, let's say there's a video and then someone clicks on it and then it has like it's almost like a landing page on Facebook. Like, what's that called?
The landing page on Facebook?
I don't know. It's like, or you like shoot a message or like those sorts of things.
That's
right?
What's great about Facebook recently is they've kind of changed their ads, so you have so much choice on what you want to run. You can direct them pretty much anywhere you want, right?
Okay.
So if you're looking for website traffic, they'll direct them to your website or to your page, or to like, if for us, when I have people like send a message, tell me about your project. You know what I mean? Because the first thing that everybody asks us is how much.
Yes.
And it's like,
not everything's the same.
What's your budget? What are you willing to put into this? Because I can give you, if you want me to go get red cameras and crazy lighting, I can do that.
Yeah.
But if you give me like, if you want something reasonable, if you give me like a day and $500, we're gonna get it going. I mean, you're gonna be really impressed with it, guaranteed.
Yeah.
And it's gonna do well.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of where we're at. And we're looking for more customers right now.
Yeah.
Ideally, we do offer like a la carte services where I'll do like one video for you or whatever, if that's really what you want, or if that's all you have, that's all you need edited. But the way that our services are like 100% the most effective is continued, like monthly continued.
It's almost like subscription.
Yeah, almost like a subscription.
Like you manage.
You don't need the same amount every month.
Gotcha.
So like to put a price on it, it's like, well, what do you want?
Yeah.
Ideally, what do you want? And then I'll tell you like realistically what you can get.
Okay.
And I'm not here to like gouge people. You know what I mean? We're just, it's there's the value is there because we don't need the whole crew. we can get it done with 2 people.
Well, you're running lean right now, so you're able to offer you're able to offer your service at a better rate. But at the same time, I mean, I was literally talking to Mari about this 2 days ago. I'm going, I need to hire somebody to start doing instead of me trying to run around and do all my editing and doing all of, like I want to create some ads for real estate. And then I was like, I want somebody to just do all the analytics and make the ad. Like, I don't want to do any of that stuff anymore.
It's so confusing and time consuming.
Especially because it changes so frequently, because I've dug into it and I'm like, okay, again, hours and hours on YouTube. Like, how does this work? Right. But this year, one of my biggest thing was leveraging. Like, how do I multiply myself?
Right.
Like, take away the things that is not my number one thing. How can I hire somebody that, I put $1 in and get $2 back. Right. And it's like, okay, how many dollars can I put in to keep getting $1? It's like, okay, I'll do that all day long.
Yeah.
And it's just a different mindset that I'm personally going through right now.
Well, I think that there's a lot of small business owners in that same mindset where they feel, because I'm very much like this. I feel like I can do most things myself if I just watch a YouTube video or whatever. And I can, but it's about the time that you have to put into it. Do you, just because you can do something, or do you really want to spend that 100 hours on it? Yeah. Or would it be more cost effective to just like use that 100 hours doing what you excel at and then outsourcing that project to somebody who's going to get it done a lot more efficiently
and probably at a much higher quality.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they specialize in it.
Yes. Yeah. And so, we've been shown through like a lot of the jobs that we do that, having like a skeleton crew it's not a big deal, because we're not doing like these massive productions.
No.
While we can, and we have, but I think that for like the average business owner, it's not realistic to pay $5,000 for a commercial.
No.
Your ROI on that is not, you're never going to return that. I mean, most likely, because that's so much.
Yeah. It'd be better to spend a little bit on the production and then the rest of it on fanning that flame.
Well, and as we continue like growing what CJ Creative Pros is becoming, we're going to have more of like a tutorial side. So we're going to explain a lot of this to people so that, even if you don't need our services, at least you can learn something, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And, because that's still, even though if we're not getting your direct business, you doing better and like knowing where you got the information actually helps my business.
Yes.
Because unfortunately online, it's about getting enough followers for your things to be seen.
Yeah.
And getting enough shares so that new people see whatever you want them to see. You know what I mean? So
now do you follow like Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yeah, sure.
And so Gary is like, give it all away.
Yeah, post it.
Give it all away. Like, how do you edit? Here's how you guys edit. You want to edit? Here you go. Here's how I do it.
Right.
Here's how I film. Here's how I do this. And what I find is you give it all away, and there's going to be some people that'll go, this is great, and they're going to do it on their own and will never hire you.
Right.
The majority of the time, it's like, oh, wow, I really appreciate you sharing. I was going to try and do this, but now I realize it's probably much better off if I just hire you to do it.
Right.
And you get business by giving away. It's like, and so that's...
Well, I think one thing that I've learned personally is like having yourself disconnected from your business is a lot harder.
What do you mean by disconnected?
So like in the past, CJ Creative Pros doesn't really feature Jenny or I.
Okay.
It's not as personal, like, and that's something we're changing. We're going to be coming to the forefront is like, we are the creative team.
Yes.
And this is why we're the creative team. And that's kind of what we're working on right now.
Okay.
Is like, cause if you can show somebody how to do something, they know that you're the professional at it.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, my hope is that people will start creating, and then maybe they'll come to a point where, like you said, they realize, okay, I can do this, but maybe it's time to outsource this a little bit and use my time a little more, effective.
Yeah. 100%. And just putting that face behind the brand.
Right.
Like people want to know nowadays. It's like, well, who is, especially with so much scamming and just like the internet's crazy. So like when all of this COVID and everything happened, I ordered some face masks online, the ones that like pull over, you know, that were like cool.
The ninja looking ones.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to get some of those. And I think I ordered like $80 worth, right, from this site. It was an ad that actually got me.
Yeah.
And so I order it, I get the email. All right, yeah, everything's gone through. And so like 2 days later, I'm like, man, I haven't gotten shipping notifications yet. So I go click on it. Website's gone. No one's there. $80 down the drain.
I'm embarrassed to say I've had that happen to me a couple times on Facebook ads. You know, it's like, again, you know, and it's never too much money, but and that's kind of tricky now. You know, we're not like, I don't have anything where you like buy now on our site because the price is so different for everybody, you know, and for real, some people can do like if I have faith that you could send like you need something and I think that you could just shoot it yourself and I could edit it.
Yeah.
I'll have you do that because that's the most effective way. You know, I could make more money setting up a whole shoot and doing it, but if that's really not what you need, you know, like you just need Instagram photos.
Yeah.
Send me some photos, I'll edit them. You know, if that's what you need.
Gotcha.
I can advise you.
Yep.
You know, and that's where our value comes from, I think.
But just like putting yourself out there, like we're real humans. Like we're a couple. We have 2 kids.
Yep.
We're trying to make it. We're trying to figure this thing that we call life out.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
How do we give our kids the freedom and then, you know, be able to send them to nice schools?
Right, and that's been a big concern of us over this last few months with the lockdown.
Yeah.
I didn't realize over the last year how much time I wasn't getting to spend with my kids.
Okay.
Because I was working, 4 or 5 days a week full time.
Yeah.
Which means like getting up roughly like right before they get up. So I see them for a few minutes in the morning, go to work, get home, and I see them for maybe like an hour before bedtime.
Gotcha.
And, you know, like a full year of that. So I was just thinking while I'm here, stuck in the house, like, you know, stuck in the house with my family, I'm so appreciative for the time.
Yes.
And it's made me see like, okay, this needs to be, our side hustle needs to be our main hustle because what's important to us now is that time and maximizing that time together, you know.
I listened to Joe Rogan and Kevin Hart last night.
Yeah.
He just put out, and Kevin Hart goes, I was married to my job and I was dating my family.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's such a profound statement because that's the majority of people. Like, I got to hustle. I got to go. I got to work hard. I got to make it happen for my family. But then you're never there. And it's like, man, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know? And I was just talking to a guy about this yesterday as well. I had him on the podcast. And understanding like what's important is really, truly liberating. And it's like, real for me, very, very powerful. Like I'm not in search of like the millions of dollars. I want to be financially free and I want to be able to, if a COVID happens, I don't want to stress like where's food going to come from. I want to be able to send my kids to nice schools. I want to have nice things, right? But I'm not going to sacrifice my integrity. I'm not going to sacrifice, you know, and do things that go against my beliefs or values and to do that. And it's powerful once you like can find that flow, and it sounds like COVID almost helped you realize that.
It kind of like pulled the veil out because I feel like for a while, you know, this was kind of a side thing, and as jobs came in, we'd do them, you know, and I wasn't really thinking about it, and it's just like this time warp happened. I feel like where I now looking back on it, I can see that what was going on was I'm going to work and I'm using my creative energy at work.
Yep.
I'm installing pipes and I'm making them look good because that's pleasing to my eye. You know, I'm making them level. And I realized all my creative energy is going into this other thing.
Yes.
Like what if I took that 8 hours a day of creative energy and I put it into something I truly cared about?
Yes.
And while this is a terrible thing that's happening with COVID, it's benefited me like in the creative way just by having the time greatly. And I now feel like I see the light. My fiance is 100% on board. You know, she's actually been pushing me to do this for a long time. And I've been like, but diapers, but you know, whatever, we need these things. And I think we have it figured out. And I think that we're okay.
Yep.
And even if business continues to trickle in slowly as these lockdowns are lifted, we're going to be great.
Yep.
And it has honestly been a little bit of a burden to book anything with this whole thing going on.
Yes.
Even though I don't need to be like in your face to film you, you know, but money's tight for people right now.
Yes.
And even though we have a very low cost product, people don't want to even spend, you know, a couple $100, and I totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have faith that when, you know, these things start to unlock a little bit more, there's going to be a lot of business owners looking for content and looking to jump in on like the rise of the market. You know what I mean?
Well, I think right now, more important than ever, people need to get out in front of it, because the unknowns of what's in front of us, right? How many of the people that are unemployed are going to have jobs? How many of those jobs are actually going to come back?
Right. Yeah. That's the big unknown.
And so now it's like, okay, we're all fighting for a piece of the pie, and maybe that pie just got a little bit smaller.
Right.
And so as a business owner, because like I said, I was having this conversation with my wife yesterday going, man, I need to push like 10x harder, not in the amount of time that I spend away and do things like, but more, I need to push 10x harder into the marketplace, but smarter. Let me leverage those pieces.
Right.
Let me hire some people to do some of these things, even though it scares the shit out of me to like hire and like, okay, I'm going to have that overhead. I'm going to have this. But just having that full belief, like this is the right thing to do. Like, again, following my gut. And I'm like, no, I need to do this. And this is the right move to make. And I'm on the right path. And I know I can help a lot of people buying and selling in this time of uncertainty. And then, you know, with the podcast, bringing on great guests like yourself, because somebody took the time on video to share their beliefs, and it completely changed my life. I'm like, okay, wow, somebody just shared a story that transformed my life completely in the direction.
Yeah, totally.
And so, you know, this is like a passion of mine, like to sit down with people and then to give back to people that are watching. Like, man, we're all human and we're all just trying to figure it out. And, you know, here's local people, because my thing is like local. Yeah. It's not a national, and I don't plan to. This is just like, this feeds my passion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a way to give back. And so I think people, myself, just reflecting on myself, you know, we're going to be talking a lot more about content creating for real estate and like, how can we do this? What's important to the person actually consuming it? You know, like what would be important to somebody that's, you know, watching it, you know, how to buy a house during COVID or how to buy a house after COVID, you know, and putting that together and really giving it away. Like, here's what you need to do here. And even if it's not with me, it's like, here's what you need to do. Here's all the steps. And then people will hear it and they go, well, yeah, I kind of like Matt. Okay, let me call him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think it's really awesome that you're jumping into it, and the support from your wife. Because when I quit my job, when I worked at Lucky's, it was my support from my wife, you know, my fiance or girlfriend at the time. Right. And so your support from your other half.
Right. It's huge.
Huge, dude. Like, she told me, I remember, like, I'm like, I didn't have anything lined up. I'm like, what are we going to do? And she's like, I don't know, but you're going to make it. Like, you've got what it takes. Like, you hate what you're doing and it's not fulfilling. Like, let's do it.
It's so important to have, for me to have Jenny, and I totally trust her opinion. Yeah. You know, like, we've been through a lot of stuff together. Like I said, traveling and just, you know, in life, having kids. Yeah. And so when she tells me something, I really take it to heart. Yes. You know, because I really trust her opinion. And she, when this all started going down, she said, what do you do? Now's the time. You know, we have all this time. She edits too. I mean, this is not just me. Everything we do is collaborative. Yep. And I help her with a lot of the stuff she does for the Contra Costa Animal Services. Okay. And she's got to put out, you know, she's doing daily content for them, no matter what, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So she's got that on top of like whatever tricky audio questions I have for her, or because she's the audio whiz. She's she actually has went to school at San Francisco State for audio engineering.
No kidding.
Yeah, so she's really talented audio engineer. She's worked on some great like big albums, and so that's kind of like her. That was kind of what initially brought us together. Was like, oh, you do music. Oh, I used to do music, and then like we spoke kind of the same language, like this creative language. And we've actually both got into like After Effects together. Like, we took a class together. And so like as we've become like a company, we've kind of grown together. So like all of our content kind of, and it's cool to look back and be like, remember when we did that, you know, because
how fun is that?
It's really cool.
It's so much fun.
Especially now, like with our kids, I love like, we bring them everywhere, you know, and it's, when I hear people talk about kids as a burden, it's just like, I don't, you know, maybe you shouldn't have had kids, because to me, it's like, even though like you have the burden of taking them everywhere and caring for them, it's like such a positive, no matter what, you know. Even before coming in here, I'm in the house singing because I'm happy with my daughter, you know, and it's just like, you know, I'm a little nervous to come on and do a podcast because, like I said, I don't really like being in front of the camera. So, you know, just having that like support system is so big. I mean, for me personally, it's the biggest thing.
And you using it as fuel, like having a kid and using it as fuel, being like, I got to be an example for this little person now.
And that's something I've had to think about, is like, what do I want my kids to think about me as they're growing up, you know? And when I look at like John Cortez, and I go, his kids are going to grow up and know that he was a great business owner, very successful, did what he loved, followed his passion. And that's what I want my kids to think about me too.
I 100% believe that, because I watched my parents both work 9-to-5 jobs, hate it, right?
Oh God, I know.
I was in that, you know, space, and it's like, man, there's got to be, you know, in my gut, for me, it was in the gut. Like, there's something more to life than going to work, putting in my time, and then coming home, being too tired to do anything else. And then just, and so, you know, the greatest thing I always say is the day I quit my job at Lucky's and took that leap of faith. And
it's a big leap of faith.
It's such a
very scary, especially. So, I mean, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, not at all.
You know, when I first started this new ad campaign for us, you know, you think, because I haven't been building our personal brand, I've been building other people's. We don't have like the personal, I mean, I have my personal networks that I can push stuff out to, and that's got a good amount of people. But like for our business, we don't have so we're building that network right now. And excuse me. So we're building that network. And one thing, you know, that's kind of disappointing is like when you spend all this time creating something and then nobody sees it. It's such a letdown, right?
Such a big letdown.
It's like one of the worst things that can happen, because, you know, you, as a creator, you put however many hours into it, and you're like, for me, I'm going, Jenny, do you think this looks good? Is the color right? Let's watch it on the big screen. Let's watch it on your monitor. You know, we're constantly doing that. And then, you know, if you get like a low retention rate or like a low engagement rate, it's like, come on, man, this would work on any other page, you know, and you just have to like finagle with the way that Instagram or Facebook or Twitter works. Because they know that you're a business. They don't want anyone to see your posts unless you pay. You know, so
you got to pay to play.
You know, you got to pay to play. It's so true. But it ultimately pays off when you invest in yourself that way, I believe.
It's just fun, like we were saying, you know, taking that leap of faith. It's just amazing. And
it was a huge leap of faith, you know. And like I was saying with Jenny, she's so supportive of me, and she, you know, she thinks like, I think she's a better content creator than I am. And she's the opposite. She thinks that of me. So like we are all day bouncing stuff off of each other, right? And she, you know, she's like, what are you doing with your like creative energy? Plumbing. Why are you doing that? You know, the money's great, obviously, but like, you only have so much energy in a day, right? You have 24 hours a day, but scratch that in half, because that's, you know, for whatever, sleeping, taking care of whatever, and then scratch that in half when you have kids. So now, you know, I'm going from like playing video games with no kids and have all this free time to do whatever we want. Now, if I want to finish something, you know, the kids got to go to sleep. You can't work with the kids screaming. So it's, we've fallen into like a great routine where we can switch off back and forth, you know, and it's like, all right, finish. And we're good at like prioritizing the projects. Like, here, go, I'll watch them. You do this.
It's a balance, man.
It is. It's all about balance. And I don't know how I did it for so long, not being home for most of the day. You know, like I was still putting out content, but like a droplet compared to what we're putting out now. Like I've turned the hose on. The hose is on.
I've seen it.
You know what I mean? Because this is it. Like, and I think that people who have been following me for a long time have seen like these like droplets, you know, and then now it's kind of like turned on and people are going, what are you doing, dude? Are you going for it? And I'm like, yes, dude, we're going for it. And this is, it's good. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback. And,
it's freaking exciting. And that's the journey, man. And I'm so excited for you. And I'm excited to see what you create. And I'm excited to partner with you because
for sure.
After we shut all this off, we're going to be talking some business as far as, what we can do together. Because I'm excited to see all your work is amazing and
thank you.
And it's fun, dude. Like it's just when you embrace it and you're like, I'm scared. I don't know if this is I'm gonna do it. I
know. And I'm not scared in the sense like wondering if it's gonna work because I know it's gonna work. I know that that's one thing like parkour and training has like instilled in me. Like it's sharpening the blade.
Yep.
Every day you have to sharpen it a little bit. You know what I mean? And I feel like my blade is very sharp right now, and I just need some grass. You know what I mean? Let's go. So, I just would like to encourage everybody. If you need any kind of content or anything, just check us out. CJ Creative Pros, Instagram, Facebook. And we'll get you a good deal. We'll get you the great content you need, and give you all the advice you need. Even if you just have questions, feel free. Well, I mean, I'm here. I'm doing it. And
man, I appreciate you, and I would encourage people to check out your work.
Thank you.
Because it's super valuable. So, man, thank you so much for being on the podcast
no
today,
problem.
bro.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. Huge honor.